look them away. But you better get ready for the price you have to pay. Warrior, and I'm a fighter for what I stand for, and that's my story. Something I am a fighter and owner. Don't fight on for my
Sunday to Sunday, even on Christmas Eve till 11 p.m. Island Hobbies, Rice and Road, Port of Spain. Even Santa buys toys from us.
Toys.
You're locked on to U975 FM. Hot like a pepper.
Okay, blessing, good afternoon to each and every one. Blessings to all our listeners and also our viewers on Facebook. Welcome to U97.5, Hot Like Pepper. Welcome to douglAr Radio. And today, again, I'm your host, Victor Roberts, who would be sitting in for the giant, the Honorable Senator Anil Roberts. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tell your friends that douglAr Radio start. And let's get into some stiff action. Let's get into some action, ladies and gentlemen. It's school time. It is time to learn and time to understand, because very soon there will be time to act. And today, ladies and gentlemen, Ansel Roger delivered a letter to Whitehall. And of course, one of my good friends, who is a part of the executive of workers' rights, accompanied me to Port of Spain as we seek to lend whatever support that we can in order to show our dissatisfaction and our disapproval with the behavior of this administration and the draconian measure that they plan to implement with or without your permission. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we also on our own journey, we made about 3 stops, one to Whitehall, one to the Parliament, and one to the Hall of Justice. And of course, this is where I will springboard this afternoon. We stop at the Hall of Justice, ladies and gentlemen, and the reason for our stop at that Hall of Justice, a place where should represent equality, fairness, equity, justice, and most of all, ladies and gentlemen, a place that should hold all lawbreakers accountable. Nevertheless, today, ladies and gentlemen, as we stand in front, on top of the step of the Hall of Justice, I make it quite clear that we stop there to stimulate, to wake up, to shake up our judiciary that is asleep. It seems as though that this government, that they have given sleeping pills to this, our judiciary, because all the constitutional bacchanal that we are experiencing in our country, the judiciary continues to be dumb. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get into our discourse, I want to draw your recollection back to Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021. What is so significant about that day? That is a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, that you must never forget. That is the Thursday where the last nail in the coffin would drive straight below the MBF board, that you cannot see the head of the nail to retrieve it. When the speaker, together with the government, they muted the mics of over 300 plus thousand citizens in this country. They muted your voice, ladies and gentlemen. They stopped the heirs of democracy. The wheels of democracy stand still on that day, because that, ladies and gentlemen, was D-Day in Trinidad and Tobago to re-establish the wheels of democracy in our country. Added to that, ladies and gentlemen, as I continue to research the behavior and the behavioral pattern of this administration, I now come to the conclusion, with evidence, why they interrupted the parliament and why they shut down democracy on Thursday the 21st of October. And ladies and gentlemen, today as we examine and we prove without a shadow of a doubt why they shut down democracy in our country, is as a result of the continuous behavior by this administration that is being led by Keith Christopher Rowley, and the way in which they intend to mash up and destroy your constitutional and democratic right, so that they will have their way in this beloved country that is called Trinidad and Tobago. And first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go back. Ladies and gentlemen, so that you can understand. And you know that when I speak, I always speak for the boy and the girl on the street to understand. And I will tell you why. If I should speak for the 30% of the upper class to understand what they already understand, it makes no sense, because that 30% of the upper class, they are silent in every aspect of what is happening in our country. So I am talking to you, the 70% that they consider to be the poorer class and what was once the middle class of our society. The Honorable Chief Justice, who serves as the chairman of the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, with a responsibility to make recommendation on judicial appointments in Trinidad and Tobago, he ought to be a qualified trainer of persons responsible for the design and delivery of judicial education programs. That is what should be happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to bring to your attention that our Constitution, there is only one instance in our Constitution that the Chief Justice is mentioned. And if you are to examine Article 1, Section 3, Clause 6 of the Constitution, you will understand what happened on Thursday, the 21st of October 2021. If you understand Article 1, Section 3, Clause 6, ladies and gentlemen, you will understand why that behavior took place on the 21st of October 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, in that clause, it states that the Chief Justice shall serve as the presiding officer of the Senate during an impeachment trial of our president. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that article speaks to the Chief Justice sitting at the helm of an impeachment trial in relation to impeaching our president. So why would Thursday the 21st of October play a part of this section of our Constitution? I will bring the facts to you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we hot this thing up here this evening, you must remember that the Law Association brought several allegations against our sitting Chief Justice. When the Law Association brought those allegations, it was incumbent upon the Prime Minister to set up a tribunal to investigate these allegations against our sitting Chief Justice. And the reason why it was imperative, forget those words, why it was important, the reason why it was important, my people, is so that the judiciary would have now have the necessary strength, power, conviction, and the trust of the citizens of this country. But when the Prime Minister refused to bring that tribunal, giving the Chief Justice a fair opportunity to elaborate, and to defend himself against these allegations, where the office of the Chief Justice would have been high in esteem, the Prime Minister refused, bringing to the Chief Justice office mayhem, mistrust, and what we can only call a lack of confidence by the people of this country into the judiciary. Does that remind you of something? It must remind you, ladies and gentlemen, why this misbehavior by the Speaker and the government on the 21st of October, when the opposition, under the astute leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisasa, came to the parliament seeking a vote so that a tribunal could have been implemented to remove, if there were any, and to give the president the opportunity to clear herself in relation to the merit list that was submitted by Bliss C. Prasad on behalf of the Police Service Commission. What they did, ladies and gentlemen, is the same thing as what they did in relation to the Chief Justice. So instead we have one high office in disrepute, we now have three offices in disrepute. We have the Chief Justice, we have the President, And we have that high-ranking official who is none other than the Prime Minister. All of the major offices that should be transparent, that should be high in esteem, that should be above board, we now have the three major arms, which is the judiciary, we have the executive, and we have the legislative arm, all in bacchanal because of a prime minister who refused to do the right thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you today that because of this breakdown in our democracy, the judiciary, who is in charge, the judiciary who is in charge of interpreting our constitution, when there is any constitutional disputes between state and any entity, today the judiciary remains dumb. Today they remain quiet. And the reason why they have to remain quiet, ladies and gentlemen, is because there is no independency about the judiciary in our country, just as there is no independence in any independent institution who should be independent to administrate and to be checks and balance in our country. There is no independency in none of these institutions. And that is why we are in this crisis. Today, I stood by the Hall of Justice and I watched this building, a building with men and women who Trinidad and Tobago should be proud of. They dress in their fancy robes and their white scarves across their neck, the shoes shining. But when you look into all that glamour and that pretty outfit, I will tell you today that the judiciary, the behavior of some of these judges, it is just as the color of the garment. It is black, it is dark, it is overshadowed by political interference. You could smell the Balize juice that run out of their gongs. You could smell the Balize juice by the pens that they wrote with in many judgments. You could smell the Balize juice by the chair that they sit on. And all that you could understand from what we are seeing is nothing more than political interference in the judiciary. Today we have Faris Alwari. Faris Alwari threatening this country that if you don't vaccinate, he is saying that in a matter of a week or two, you will be on no pay leave. And the legislation that he boasts on the press conference that he already wrote several pieces of legislation, it will bring your job to the point of redundancy. Very well soon after, you will be dismissed. And this is what Trinidad and Tobago must not accept. We, ladies and gentlemen, must never accept this kind of dictatorial behavior by any and every government that we put into power. You have to understand before we go for the break. You must understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you are not sitting ducks, that you are not sheep, that you are not animals, that you are human being with the same rights as the politician. You must demand your rights. You have the politician in this country spending and enjoying your taxpayers' money, benefiting from every form of wealth, eating, drinking the best, driving the best. And you, as a bunch of citizens who are so brainwashed, who do not want to take the time out to understand that the Creator, He have created you as a precious human being with respect, with dignity, with strength that you cannot imagine. And you have allowed a government to remove your dignity, to take away your pride, and to bring you to the point where you have to sit and hope and wonder and beg and pretend that all is right, only to receive a hamper. That is what this government has brought you to in this country. We're going to take a break. The numbers to call: 218-7762, 218-7762. We will take some of your calls when we come back.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mausica.
Opening hours:
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mausica.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. One use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, well beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be only full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they don't see, vote them out. Stain your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Vote them out with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power, dominate their reign. Let's put our country together again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, at 7:30, we will be going straight into douglAr politics with none other than the Honorable Senator Anil Roberts. All right. Welcome, caller. You're in on the inside.
Mr. Victor Robert, sir, a blessed night.
Good night, sir.
And to your co-pilot. Sir, did you read the letter what Mr. Roger carry? No. You see when Jesus Christ tells the 12 disciples, one of you would betray me. He said, you just go and do your work. When Jesus was passing by the church, you see them gambling and did he leave them there to gamble? No. And you know, what Judas supposed to use was his conscience. When Mrs. Kamla Prasad, he says to say, vote with your conscience. And you follow, did he give the Prime Minister a memorandum? Break that in 4 syllables and see what you get. Dumb. The last word in it is run and dumb. You see, one thing, sir, all this government institution in this country, the people in high places are the greatest sinners, sir. The poor man, the grassroots man, does help one another. And yet they just come and make us hate one another. And when we accept that, we sin against our own self. Have a blessed and wonderful day.
Thank you, caller. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So the fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, is how could the government appoint that tribunal on the 21st? How could they vote for something that they themselves condemn? Because they have not given the Chief Justice the opportunity to clear himself. But now, when it comes to appointing the tribunal to examine what went wrong in relation to the destruction of the Police Service Commission, they could not have appointed that. Let me tell you why. How could you put the Chief Justice to lead and to examine and to create and to pronounce judgment on the president of the country when the same Chief Justice have allegations hanging over his head? Welcome, caller. You're on the inside.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Robert and viewers.
Good day.
No, I just want to say I appreciate this topic about the Constitution and the role of the judiciary, because it's very few people bringing up the idea of the powers within the judiciary and the legislative branch of government to keep the executive at bay.
Yes.
So the minute the executive start to go off key, you're going to end up in a form of elective dictatorship. You're voting, but you're still choosing a dictator.
Correct.
Because the executive going to overrule the legislative and judicial branches. And they have been doing that over decades now to reach this point. And I really appreciate that they bring up and talk now about the constitutional principles involved in this parliamentary sovereignty of state we have. You know, because if we don't, we're going to lose the republic.
Yes, sir.
Trust me, we're going to lose the republic. So I just appreciate that. Thanks again, and keep on talking for, you know, civil liberties, individual economic freedoms, medical autonomy. You know, keep it up, because this is the only way we could maintain a free society away from these overruling, tyrannical, authoritarian kind of mentality of people.
Yes,
so thank you very much, and keep it up.
Thank you, and I do appreciate your comments very much, caller. And caller, that's one of the reasons why I'm saying that the Constitution must be taught in school. Let's take this one. Caller, welcome. You are on the inside.
Good night, Comrade Robert.
Yes, sir. Good night. Good night.
And Trinidad and Tobago. So, you see, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, they realize that he stopped the public service and he suspend full vacancy for 1 year. And his retrenchment and close down of the public service. And they forget, because most of them make up his supporters of the PNM.
Correct.
And the thing about it, they tell us when they get rid of Mr. Duke, Comrade Duke, that they could have their way. But the teaching service, he stopped it. The nurses' vacancy, he sent them home. The public service and the judiciary, he not hired anybody to fill vacancy. So now he's converted everything to contract. And the people, if they can't come and shut down from now and send a message, then I don't know what they will get. There will be straight case like Petrotrin. But Petrotrin workers know that they will sit at home and they issue for the pension now. Have a nice night.
Thank you, caller. Welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, how could you put the Chief Justice, who also have allegations hanging over his head as a result of Keith Rowley failure. Keith Rowley failure is what put the judiciary in this constitutional bacchanal. It is because of Keith Rowley failure why people have no trust in the judiciary. And that is why Faris Alwari and they could run to the judiciary where they know for a fact. Let me rephrase that. I am saying they are running to the judiciary simply because I know for a fact that they would get the necessary judgment that they need. You cannot have a Chief Justice with allegations going to preside over a matter which might very well lead to the getting rid of the president, which might very well lead to the suspension of the duties of the president. You cannot have a Chief Justice sitting with these allegations, because it will move from there all the way to the Privy Council. You see, it comes a clear case that you're putting cat to watchman cheese. That is what it come like. You putting cat to watchman cheese, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where the first stage of breakdown started within the constitutional disaster. Now, was this orchestrated especially for what we are now experiencing? This had to be part of a holistic plan to keep that Chief Justice limboing. Let me tell you something. When you have a man limboing, when you put a stick and you drop the stick to about a foot, and you bring a man and tell him limbo on any day, and he start to limbo and the drum start to beat, and he going down. When he reach down to that 1 foot is where he have to really master the art to succeed. When you take that, ladies and gentlemen, and you put that into the system of the judiciary, and you have a prime minister who controlling the stick, it is a straight case as the stick could go as high to accommodate what he wants to accommodate, and go down low to stop what he wants to stop. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are now faced with a situation that I hear Faris Alwari boasting that he is so excited for these matters to go to the courts, because the man already certain what would be the outcome. The man already know what would be the outcome. The man already have the answers to what will be the outcome. And this is the type of corrupt dictatorial behavior that we are now experiencing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the highest office in our land that we consider an office that is sacred, an office that is without disrepute, and that is the office of the president. And when we see, when we look, when we watch, when we saw the behavior of the president in these matters which will break or make our country, and we saw that the president dragged the flag through the mud and then take the flag up and put it on the pole and have it flying, pretending to people that the flag is clean and sacred, while the truth and in fact is that the flag, ladies and gentlemen, is dirty, mucky. The flag have no value because of the condition that the president have allowed it to be flown in this country. Have you not seen, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening to us? Have you not seen that we are moving from one stage to another? Have you not understand, ladies and gentlemen, that doom is before us? Have you not, ladies and gentlemen, see what is happening in your country? Those of you who are our mature citizens, have you ever experienced such a behavior in the history of politics in our country? Those of you who are middle-aged, have you ever seen this type of behavior by the highest office holders in our land? Those of you who are underage, I pray and hope and trust that you have seen the blatant disrespect for law and order by those in authority, and that as you grow older, that you will never forget what we are experiencing, and that you will grow with dignity, that you will grow with passion, that you will grow with discipline, and that you will grow to hold the flag of Trinidad and Tobago once more in high esteem. Children, do not look to the president, do not look to the prime minister, do not look to the judiciary, do not look to the law association, do not look there to become something in society. Do not look at these individuals as mentor, because you would be committing a great mistrust upon your children, upon your unborn babies. You must live to tell the story about this evil, wicked dictator that today we have as a president, a man who continue to erode and to destroy every independent institution in our country. Caller, welcome you in there on the inside.
So why they collecting with taxpayers' money and they're not doing the job? We have to stand and put them all out.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
blessed night.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to stand. The time has come where we must lock arms. We must interlock arms and feet and anchor ourselves in defense of this country. This threat is a domestic threat. This threat is an internal threat. And therefore, I am calling on every citizen to stand united, to fight against this dictator, to fight against the subjects of this dictator. Those who agree to destroy our democracy, those who benefit by millions and millions of our taxpayers' dollars, those, ladies and gentlemen, who sit quietly in the parliament because they are receiving what can only be described as corrupt money. They have not worked for their salaries. They have not stand up to defend you. You who have elected them and put them in office. They have turned their backs on you. They have now looking upon you as the enemies of this country by vaccination segregation. They are looking at you, ladies and gentlemen, as those that are responsible for the death of our citizens, when the truth and in fact they are the ones who are responsible. They have never put the necessary policies in place to save our lives. They have not, ladies and gentlemen, stand up with your taxpayer dollar and spend your taxpayer dollar meaningfully to save your parents and grandparents from death. They continue to blame and use words of high meaning to disregard and to show blatant disrespect for you who cannot even understand as to what this speaks to. They will never use a language that you could understand. They will never come to you real. They will always disguise. They will always use words of trickery. They will always use Kamala Prasad Bisesa as the enemy, when the truth and in fact the history of this country will show you that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, that woman, have provided more amenities, more jobs, more schools, more educational programs, more everything to suit your daily needs. What has this government done for you more than to bring hardship and destruction and death upon you as the citizens of this country? Why, ladies and gentlemen, are you sitting like some of the cabinet colleagues? Why are you sitting dumb and helpless in this country? God have created you with the ability to understand, to see what is taking place, and he gave you a mind where you can understand what is happening. Welcome, caller. You're on the inside.
Yes, comrade. The area that's make is that is not president, is prime minister in office, and they fly the flag upside down. And the old people are strained on the treasury. So you see all the ethnicity and the cleansing that of the Maduro rollover and a pure dictatorship because of the 25 years of gas deal with Shell, and they keep it hush-hush. And the selling out of our servant rights. Good night.
Thank you, caller. And as we go for a break, remember, ladies and gentlemen, to tune in at 7:30 p.m. sharp for the one and only, the heavyweight champion, Anil Roberts with douglAr Politics. Stay tuned.
Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain, has the largest variety of toys in the Caribbean and South America. No one can beat our prices. If you see it cheaper anywhere else, prove it and we will beat it. We're open every day till late, Sunday to Sunday, even on Christmas Eve till 11 p.m. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain. Even Santa buys toys from us.
Toys.
Okay, Rudolph. Make her right. Then, oh, hold on. Mrs. Claus sent a WhatsApp. The elves are hungry. Pick up a Royal Castle Queen bucket, a King bucket, some royal wings, a family meal, a few combos, some extra delicious coleslaw, crinkle-cut fries, potato salad, and a snack box for yourself. Oh, and don't forget that delicious honey mustard sauce. It's really lashing. Okay, Rudolph. Let's get that delicious local Trini flavor. Royal Castle, here we come. Royal Castle is the local something that makes it all taste better. Ho, 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 ho. Happy holidays from Royal Castle.
If for 30 years you voting them in, and there's only tears as soon as they win, they give you big words and enslave your souls, promising you roads and giving potholes. If they are the reason why the economy won't sprout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can flout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the building eyesores, east, west, north and south, the same way you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out, totally vote them out. State your finger and
Welcome back. Welcome back. Remember the number to call is 218-7762. 218-7762. You can make your input. Ladies and gentlemen, when I listen to Faris Alwari telling this country that he have seek legal expertise, legal advice, and all the advice that he collected in these pieces of legislation that he going to force upon this country, he said all was in agreement. Every one of them agreed with him that there is no ifs, maybe, or buts, but he have the authority to bring what should be a special majority piece of legislation as a simple majority. Well, let me tell you something. Faris and all the advisors, all who advise him, could go straight to hell with that notishness that they want to implement upon the people of this country. You see, when you examine Section 4 of the Constitution, it gives you a clear indication where it is matters of infringement on the rights of our citizens. It tells you as to what majority should be used to change this part of the Constitution. So I don't know. You see, if you go back and you realize that everything that this government did from day one is with a simple majority. Every piece of legislation, they water it down, simple majority, a minority majority, a minority government with a simple majority implementing legislation that requires 3/5 and 2/3 majority, and we as the people in the country sit down as dumb animals. That is what we sit down as, and that is why we are now in this state. You see, I seen everybody jumping out. Everybody jumping out. You know why jumping out now? Because they now understand what we on the opposition side was saying all these years, that the dictator is here, that it is clearer and clearer every day. But everybody want to sit down and play race, and everybody want to sit down and play this great partisan politics, and who like Indian, and who like Creole, and who like Indian, and who like Creole, and now that is what all you're getting. You know what all you getting now? All you getting Indian and Creole, you know. All you getting Hitler. That's what all you getting. All you getting the real dictator. All you're getting it straight in all your belly. In your belly, all you're getting it. All you see this man take away everything from all you. lick up every aspect of employment. All they ain't understanding that is Maduro technique. He leave all it dead to collect 644 million. All they ain't realize that yet. All they ain't realize that yet. Well, all this sit down now, man. Sit down in all your house. Sit down right there. And just talk Kamla. And talk UNC. You feel it's Kamla and UNC that gain all it. It's not Kamla and UNC that gain all it. The punk planting or the whole planting is not Kamla and UNC gain all it. It's all your own Sarabai. It's all your own. And old people have a thing that they just say, when your own flea bite you, it does bite you hard. Well, take bite. Take bite. Only take bite now. And that flea biting only way only can't even scratch. That is what the flea doing. All they don't understand, all they figure it was a game. And the robots always tell earlier that voting, election, the ballot paper, the ink on your finger, it has consequences. All they know understanding it. The man bringing it real to you. Watch, it's not a small dose again, you know. All they getting the whole hog. Christmas coming, he gain all your hog. All the roast, bake, do all they want. It's the whole hog all they getting. All they getting the foreleg. And all they getting it with the hoof on. It cutting both sides. That's why he getting all your. All they feel plain. It's not no mama guy now. It's the whole hog. He ramming down all the throat. And he's sending down the 4 foot one time. See if all you could swallow that. See if all you could swallow that. All you figure politics is about race. All you figure politics is about Indian and Creole. That's what you feel. Well, politics is not about that, my people. Politics is about real life. Politics is about your standard of living. Politics is you making the best decision to send this country in a direction where your children and grandchildren would benefit. Not the selective few, the fantastic 7 who benefiting. You feel it's that? It's not that. Welcome, caller, you're on the inside. All right, we missed that one. Caller, call back. All you feel this is about game. It's not about game. This is about life and livelihood. This is about all your loss in all your life. All you understanding what's going on. All you seeing what's going on. All you think you care about all you. We deliver because we care. Well, let me tell you something. Right now, we ain't delivering, you know, because the baby breach. The baby breach, that no delivering now. The man intend to destroy all you, whether all you want it or not, or you have to take it. We beg all you watch what they're doing with the Constitution. All you watch how they're abusing the power. But all you don't want to pay attention. All you don't want that. All you want to sit down on the block. All you want to sit down under the lazy tree. All you want to go for a ride. All you just want to lime. Well, now let me tell you something. All liming over with Keith Rowley. All liming done. It's either you do, you die, or all you run away. And here the bad part, no country ain't taking no refugee right now. So all you have no way to run. So all you either had to do or die under the dictator. Do or die. Your choice. But there is another choice that is floating around. That is the choice of standing against the dictator. What would you do? Welcome, caller. You are inside.
Mr. Victor Robert.
Yes, sir.
You're preaching so wonderful. And you're clearing the conscience of the people's mind. And if we just keep listening, just hearing and not listening, we are the ones to pay the consequences and making them happy, and we are sad.
Yes, sir.
And when we, you see, this race talk, I never in it, Mr. Robert.
Yeah.
Never, never in it. I just tell them, boy, we're one flesh. We breathe in the same air. What is the hate about? When you hate somebody, the hate starting from within your own self. You're hating your own self. You're hating no other is but yourself. Your pressure going up. Your stress levels going up. And you're getting angry with your own self. We all have to come up and say, we hire our Prime Minister. You show us no respect. You're showing us no love. You're showing us no dignity, no transparency, nothing. We, the people, had a chance. God work it out like that, eh? Mrs. Kamla, 5 years. Mr. Rowley, 5 years. And we went back and choose evil. Who asked for it? We asked for it. So we have to take now and either pay for our stupidity and let them do us what we want. Are we a dumb bag? This is why when I tell you the memorandum letter, what letter he carried there, you run behind a dumb man. At least he could have read it out for the people and let him know what you're taking for the Prime Minister. No, he didn't do that for us. He went in secret and to tell a lie and to hurt us again. And he is the same man who went from east, west, north, and south against Mrs. Kamla Prasad and said, don't vote for her. Don't vote for her. He dragged her east, west, north, and south. Never, ever treat a woman like that. You come from that belly and you're pulsing it and kicking it on the street. Mr. Roger, your time. Come in and also have a blessed, wonderful night, Mr.
Thank you,
Robert.
brother. Ladies and gentlemen, examine Brian Manning. Brian Manning get COVID-19. Brian Manning were experiencing breathing problems. Brian Manning was taken to the facility for treatment. How come Brian Manning get over so quickly? How come Brian Manning is breathing comfortably? How come Brian Manning is all right? And how come your family are dying? Yeah, the few seconds are silent is for you to soak that in. How come your family are dying? Is something wrong? Is something wrong, dear people? Is something that you not understanding? So why not? Let me ask you a question. Let me reason. I have a few minutes before douglAr Politics come in at 7:30. Let me reason. What do you have to lose with getting rid of this administration who never for this 6-7 years do anything to improve your standard of living? They do anything to help your family to survive? Who do everything to lie and to fool you? Who benefiting from all the resources and you have nothing? What do you have to lose? You tell me, what do you have to lose? Is it a feeling? Is it a feeling? Let me ask you something. Didn't you same people survive under Kamla Prasad Bisesa from 2010 to 2015? Wasn't you same people enjoy life under Kamla Prasad Bisesa from 2010 to 2015? Wasn't you same people buying cars and building houses and educating your children under Kamla Prasad Bisesa from 2010 to 2015? Talk to me now. Only talk to me. What was the problem? Let me tell you what was the problem. Only say only vote out Kamla Prasad Bisesa for corruption. That is what only say. Because the talk was thief. The talk was Rowley have evidence. The talk was Rowley to give me the chance to lock up. So all they know the talk was lie. All they didn't know that. All they didn't understand that. So what are they talking about now? What was the merit of voting out Kamla? All they tell me. Wasn't allegations of corruption? Wasn't it? What they have now? All have any allegation of corruption? No. All they have no allegation of corruption under the PNM. None whatsoever. You know what they have? Blatant thief. Blatant thief. That's what they have. Blatant lie. Blatant money in my friends and them pocket. Blatant money in oil scandal. Blatant money in procurement with vessels. Blatant money with the LNG train 1 in Point 14. Blatant money with NGC. Blatant money in Tobago House of Assembly. That's all they have. That is all they have. Blatant thievery. So sit down in a corner. Sit down in a cozy corner. Broken and hungry. Sit down in a corner. Broken and hungry with no education. Because you only take with that too. He take away all your devices. No internet for you. He take it. Only sit down there in that corner. And just sit down and pray. Just pray. And all go be well. You see, all they don't understand that God will help those who help themselves. So sit down and pray. Sit down and you just pray. That's all. And everything will be all right. You know, it remind me of the story with the man who was drowning. They say the man fall off a boat. A current take him and carry him down the road. He start to pray. A boat pass. Pull up by him. Come on. He said, nah, God will save me. Welcome, caller. I will continue after you inside.
Yeah. Okay, good night, Mr. Roberts.
Good night, sir.
Mr. Roberts, last night I waited patiently to finish here. You talk. You say you were going to talk about some boy who tell you as a African. I want to hear that. Right? I was waiting last night. I wait until the end and you say nothing at all. I waited on that. And please let it be one. There are plenty of people waiting to call. Don't give people one call a day or something. Now everybody call one person alone. I want to hear what is the outcome of what went on with Roger today and so on. What is really went on there? Because I ain't hear nothing. Listening to you, I ain't hear nothing at all about that. You know, and I hope the opposition come out in a force. Let me see if we can, because if you say it's 2/3, 3/5 majority, we have to try and see what can happen. At least they could try to block that or whatever. Because we have, I just can't understand this, you know. We have so much of bright lawyers, the best lawyers in Trinidad and goes in the UNC. And we let these stupidness pass, and you rightfully say that somebody's, you know, this thing that's and letting it just pass just so we have 3/5 majority to pass a bill, and we let it pass, and we have a strong opposition with the best lawyers in Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, man, like something wrong. You know, and so people just question themselves and ask, but wait now, like the opposition cahoots with the government or what? How come they are standing and, you know, take it to the Privy Council or you know, we have to make a stand. When is the next what is it, pushback or whatever it is we have in again?
All right.
Have a good night. Let me give somebody else a chance.
Yes, brother. Okay. So, brother, let me start right where you start. And I want to tell you something, you know. And you're right. This country has some of the best lawyers. Some of the best. But you know what, caller? Let me tell you what's the problem in this country. Some of the problem in this country, you see in 1 Timothy chapter 3, it speaks to the love of money is the root of all evil. It speaks to the love of money is the root of all evil. And caller, it have great lawyers in the law association, whether they be PNM, UNC, NJAC, MSJ, or whatever they are. And let me tell you something, caller. Some of these scholars some of these lawyers will never raise their hand except it becomes for a few dollars more. Welcome, caller. You're inside. You hear what I'm telling you, caller? Secondly, Roger delivered a letter to the Prime Minister. We reach up a bit late. Me and my colleague here reach up a bit late. But we do what we had to do. Thirdly, it had no time for pushback in this country anymore, caller. Pushback day is done. Right now, it's push out. It had no pushback. It's push out. And if we can't push out, then we better really prepare to bend we back to see what Rowley have to offer to us in this country. Plain talk, bad manners. Now is the time to push out. And all who ready to push out, call me. Call me. I call into my grandmother from Grenada. Call me. I'm ready. Welcome, caller.
Blessed night again, Mr. Robert. You see, Mr. Robert, what has happened? You see, I just wait for people to call. I just wait for people to call. But you see, when you saying things though, my spirit just come to that passion of truth, what you just be putting out for the people. And they sit down, or they lie down on the mouth, or they standing up on the head. You see, when you just use the word stand up, you hear the word, stand up and push back. How you can stand up to push back? Is the people's revolution have to come out and stand up and go forward, not backward. Because if you're going backward, Mr. Rowley come and pushing we down into the ocean. Have a blessed, wonderful night, too.
Caller, you make me laugh, boy. You make me laugh. Caller, let me tell you something, people. Wake up. Wake up and push out. Have a partner when they hear you ready to bark like a dog. You will bold to hear them dog that's gone, you know. Because them dog biting. Boy, we have to push out now. And caller, let me tell you something. You talk about the people revolution. Let me tell you something. The people revolution better really get up and let us revolutionize this country. Let us get up and save this country. All you believe is a joke what happening in this country. This is people's life. Welcome, caller.
People, wake up and push out.
Hello, caller.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Well, I'm calling. I was very disappointed with Roger this morning. I was expecting to see him at the street, a mannequin, a Rowley and his cohorts dragging him for a spin. But when he went to beg, he went to give Rowley a letter to beg him. Anybody knows what the letter has in it?
No, I don't.
Roger is a traitor, and he's betraying everybody that is joining with him. He is betraying everybody that is following him. And people should get rid of Roger once and all. He is like a slut dog, following Rowley bottom. So lick Rowley bottom and Rowley balls.
All right, caller, we got to call it there. We want a different language. So call back and settle yourself. I know you're upset. Ladies and gentlemen, douglAr Politics in 5 minutes. Listen. Get up. wake up and let us push out. Welcome, caller.
Yes, good night. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir.
I could tell you what's in that Roger letter. I will tell you. The 15 million he get done, so he begging for another 15 to get David Abdullah some. That's what it is in that letter. Agon.
All right, caller. People, listen. I want to say something right now. And I want to let it take it for what it is. I'm going to use a word I don't really use. But right now, to hell with Roger. Roger is not the problem at this time. The problem is saving this country from the dictator. That is the problem. I don't care about Roger right now. I want people to tell me, let us stand up and bring out this country to get rid of this dictatorial government. That is what I want to hear. That is what we had to fight for. Roger getting millions. Roger, all right. We have a bigger battle to fight. And let me join and fight this battle. Roger could go down in a petroleum pipeline for my part. That's not important right now. What is important is to stop Faris Alwari. It's to stop Keith Rowley. It's to stop the government from implementing legislation that mashing up with democracy and our fundamental human rights. That is the problem. That is where the problem lies. We don't have time to waste time on Roger. Roger could beg, he could do what he wants. I got in tongue this morning. You feel I went in tongue to support Roger? We went in tongue to make noise if everybody was making noise. And if people did come out, we would have been making noise when Roger gone. That is what it is. So this is no time for game thing. This is no time for play thing. This is a time, ladies and gentlemen, where your life is threatened. This is a time where the life of your children are being threatened. This is the time where a government wants to make money over the citizenry of this country, and we must stop that. We must stop that. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night.
Good night, sir.
Mr. Victor.
Yes, sir.
Good night. I want you to name the names of the people on the Integrity Committee. Name the names, and they exist. They operating. Where the offices? They operating. They existing. Tell the people about that.
Well, brother, I ain't want to. All right, thank you. But I ain't want to talk about that tonight, because I have a plan for them too. Caller. I have a plan for them. I ain't exposing it tonight, but you will see it very short. I have a plan for them, and the plan coming. Caller, rest assured. Because let me tell you something in this country. All them independent, every independent institution, all of them contaminated. All of them, 728, douglAr politics in 1 minute and 40 seconds. All of them contaminated. So don't study them. We have a plan for them too. You see this year coming. Let me tell all you something, you know. You see this year coming between now and the first. All you will see that this country will rise up and wake up. Archie, stand by to flick over. Stand by to press your button, Archie. Because this thing getting hot inside here. This thing getting mad inside here, Archie. Stand by to press your button. I want to tell everybody, join douglAr Radio tomorrow, please God. Tomorrow, please God, at 6:15, right here on U 97.5 FM. Hot like a pepper. We out.
Listen, take some education. your bally's there, B&M have to go. Just now is election, we bringing back UNC.
It's back the deal with the B&M.
Rowley say, I am worthless since COVID-19. Rowley, you worthless since you're born. You now know you worthless? The Prime Minister, Keith Christopher Rowley, said, bar patrons are putting us all at risk. Non-compliant bar patrons are putting us all at risk. But they have to understand, said Rowley, that the business that they engage in is a business that is calling people to violate protocols. Considering what have been doing over the last 3 months, this group is putting all of us at risk. He recalled that he was driving in Woodland. This is the Alsing now. He was driving in Woodbrook, the Alsing, at about 3 p.m. on Saturday and saw a bar at the western end of Arapita Avenue. I was appalled to see the throngs of young people in such close quarters. It was scary. Let me ask Trinidad and Tobago something. Haven't you all heard the PNM, one after the next, tell you all for the last 4 months that them is the COVID busters. Them is Superman, Superwoman, Wonder Woman, and Invisible Woman, all wrapped in one with COVID-19. They conquer it, they flatten it, they beat it, they run it. Okay. So what they scared of? What they scared of? Why are you so petrified? Why are you so scared? Why are you running and hustling? Why are you worried? If you have conquered it, if there's no community spread, if there's been no community spread for the last 3 months, what you afraid? What you studying? Why you humbugging people still? Or is it that you lie? Is it that you didn't test? Is it that you know that 3,993 tests for 1.42 million people is useless? Is it that you're not good? Is it that your tracing was not good? Is it that your kits were not good? Is it that you did not test? Is it that you did no antibody test? Is it that you don't know what you're doing? Is it that you're clueless? Is it that the Alsing is a druggist and not a pharmacologist, and he's not a doctor like what Kamala have with Dr. Fuad Khan, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, Dr. Buru, all of them. So, you see, you always lie so much that you end up believing your lie, and then your comments are incongruous with what you have been telling the population. Because you cannot blame young people. As if every day we hear from young convent girl, small pen young, convent girl, the Alsing, and you, Rowley Oreo, oh, COVID, we are the COVID busters. We are the best in the world. One little Oxford study that wasn't a study, that didn't study anything, said that we were number one, when we really number 168, because we had test nobody, we had do nothing. But you tell everybody morning, noon, and night. You go in the parliament, all 23 or all your MPs say, COVID, vote for Rowley. COVID, vote red. The best COVID, as if COVID started in September 2015. What happened to all that time? But furthermore, if you send that message out and then people relax, they are listening to you because they believe you. Now people, to my people, all you should know not to believe a man that come into power on email gate. All you should know not to believe a man who tell you he didn't know what Delcy was coming to talk about face to face. You all should not be the man, believe a man who opened a border while all your car come back for a pay the visa plane and didn't know who was on the plane. You must not believe a man who did not know that there were PDVSA officials coming to meet him in the office. Astrobal, I'm now discovering, I'm just discovering Astrobal Chavez. You all want to believe a man like that? But PNM, if a husband come home every night and tell his wife, girl, money flowing, things good, the boss give me a raise, I getting bonus, I working hard, when he really lost his work. And so the wife on that information take a Saturday, call she girlfriend and go down C3 Mall, drive all the way from Labrador to C3 Mall and start to shop
She buy Gucci purse, she buy a little shoes, buy a little weave, a little eyelash, and a little MAC makeup and come home. And when the man see all the things she buy, he faint and fall down because he broken. You shouldn't lie. That's all you're doing. COVID, all you're afraid. All you're the COVID busters. And as we talk COVID, let me tell you all something and listen to me. Record it and play it over. Kamla Prasad Bisesa said it 6 times last night. Kamla Prasad Bisesa is not opening any border at any time. Kamla Prasad Bisesa's position is that we must not keep our citizens out. We must repatriate our citizens with the strictest protocols and quarantine. If we have to utilize every empty hotel room and guest house in secluded areas, following quarantine, 14-day protocol, full testing, 3 tests, whatever the WHO and the CMO says, that's the protocol. So, but citizens who belong here, who are born here, must not be denied the opportunity to be repatriated. The borders remain closed. That's not open borders. So don't be those ridiculous PNM people who are pushing the propaganda that Kamala is going to open the border. Absolute nonsense. In fact, the PNM is going to open the border for CPL cricket, for all kind of foreigners to come from all over. 250 foreigners coming in. That's an open border. They're not citizens, and then they're coming in and they're changing the protocol for them. And they're saying, well, 7 days by the Hilton, and then you could go out and train, and then you could come back and so on. That is not WHO protocol. That is irresponsible behavior. Kamla Prasad Bisesa would cancel our CPL due to COVID health situation. No opening borders to Latino cricketers and 250 officials and CPL officials to play some ridiculous cricket that we have no money to make for, that they're making money, that Rowley pay $1 million US and he don't even know that them men have the TV rights and making money. Rowley was so unbright. It's not funny. Furthermore, so y'all have it now? Kamla Prasad Bisesa is not for any open borders. Thirdly, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, when she wins on August 10th, by August 11th, her Minister of National Security and Minister of National Defense will shut down the porous borders with the 360-degree, would fill up all 14 Coast Guard vessels that are parked up down at Stobles, fill it up with diesel and gas, and deploy them on the south coast, the entire stretch, to stop the influx of illegal migration that has gone unfettered, unbothered by Stuart incompetent, small pin, clownhead, Dotis 3.62 billion blow by his brother, small pin, and Richard Young. That is the incompetence that we are talking about. How could it be that we who have been on lockdown, our citizens cannot come back? They're not there, and those who are coming back, they say they're following strict quarantine protocols. Well, if that is so, and we have not had community spread for 11 weeks, how come it's starting to spread like blue band on bread? And we're just seeing pictures of 30 Venezuelans picked up here, 18. How many got through? How many are getting through? People, we went down to the Icacos, Fullerton, Icacos South Coast. And do you know what Stuart Smallpin Young is patrolling that entire coastline with? 1 4x4 Jeep. 1 4x4 Jeep. The border is as open as ever. So he shut down the airport for our citizens starving and so on. He shut down the port. The ports, very good. But the entire coastline with 20 different entry points, open, wide open, it's skin open, like, you know, like, yeah. Who like to ride stupidness? Yes, just so. You understand? Kamla Prasad Bisesa will shut down the porous border. So not only she not opening the legal, legitimate border, she will shut down and lock down the whole entire coastline of Trinidad and Tobago by putting the assets that we have out there, by deploying the army down on the southwest coast in camps to assist, to have full police presence, march up 20 vehicles with bright floodlights, also all the Coast Guard vessels down there with smaller vessels, interceptors, all down on that coast. The radar will be functioning up and monitoring all movement. That's the only way to stop COVID from coming in. It's exploding in Venezuela. 13,000 cases, so they say. But Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, we don't know what's the real numbers because nobody was really testing. We don't know if to trust Maduro figures, and we definitely don't know if to trust Rowley figures. Maduro, Rowley, same thing. I wonder if Archie you go play, as I call them two men, play a little video for me now with Maduro and Rowley, because they're so together. They're like ring on finger. They're bosom buddies.
Welcome back. And just to tell you that it's not only me, that the entire country has now recognized that the entire process deployed, employed, and put in place by Rowley's cabinet, Convent Girl, the Buckmaster Parashram, and Dr. Hyde has been nonsense, not based on science, total nonsense. Rivers remain closed, but then closed down extra without having another person. Beach with hot sun, where the virus has only lived 12 hours in the hot sunlight, whereas in air condition, in indoors, in cool places, the virus lives 72 hours. So you have all this time to catch it indoors, but only this time to catch it outdoors. But all they don't understand that sunlight does kill the virus fast. All they don't know that. But you don't know the testing, the contact tracing. Dr. Hyde changing the tracing now because Rowley get it, but then he didn't get it. Dr. Hyde even changing the symptoms to runny nose and stuffy nose. Dr. Hyde telling me that illegal immigrants coming from Venezuela where COVID-19 fire burning like volcano, that they may bring no COVID-19, but all the citizens lock out. We know that it was total nonsense. This man says it best. I can't sing, so I go ask you to sing it with me. Play the guitar and sing a song, boy. And all you understand that this COVID-19 nonsense is total play.
So when WHO signs off on what is acceptable as a vaccine for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, I will be the first in line to have my vaccine. As long as it is, you'll be second. I'll be second.
Lie again. Lie. Liar, them is the biggest liar.
Just to find out who is the first person elected to get the shot today. And of course, we remember the Prime Minister said that once the vaccine is here, he'll be the first. And you said, of course, you'll be the second.
Correct.
Just to find out, just follow up on that one.
So I have no idea who is going to be first. On the principles of equity, the minister doesn't choose people.
Really use right now is a bacon roll and a cup of tea. I don't need positive affirmations, I need to scream and bawl. The unrealistic expectations won't help with this at all. This is shit. Well, this is shit. I'm not expecting answers because they're out of your remit. I'm not looking for solutions, just for someone to admit that this is shit, this is shit, this is shit.
Wearing a mask by the average Trinidadian and Tobagonian is of absolutely no use. As a matter of fact, it is more dangerous because the average person who does not know how to put on a mask or who puts on an ill-fitting mask is going to be doing what? Every 2 seconds, adjusting. And then you are touching your face. So I am appealing to the public. Stop buying masks. Thank you very much, Minister Cox. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago, members of the media. As you can see, we are leading by example from this morning in wearing masks. Masks that I think 3 of us have on so far are homemade masks. And this is a very simple way to go to help save. To make a mask is a very small amount of material. You could take an old t-shirt, you can make a mask. You could take a bandana and make a mask. There is no reason to open up cloth stores to make masks. An old t-shirt, you can make 10 masks out of an old t-shirt. And we all have old t-shirts.
All you put Emery in the video. Oh God! And Faris was the cameraman. Oh! I don't know what to say again. And all you vote for that. No. People look like crying. Let me drink some water, yes? Oh Lord, all you vote for that, you know. My people. And it's just little snippets, you know. All you vote for that. And then want to know why the economy in shambles? Why the GDP gone down from 157 billion under Kamla Prasad Bisesa in 2014 down to 112 billion before COVID? Now it must be 96 billion. The debt to GDP gone up to 95%, nearly hitting 100%. The foreign direct investment at minus 600 million US. The foreign reserves moved from 12.26 billion US down to 5.2 billion US. We moved from 13 months import cover down to 5 months import cover. All you can't get no US. Your road a big pothole that man crashing in and people swimming in. No laptops, children can't even log on. You're suffering. Petrotrain shut down. 12 company in Point Lisa shut down because Smallpin and Rowley get outsmarted by brighter people and them dunce negotiate on our behalf and all you vote for that. No grant, no money for children, autism grant gone, children differently able could not go to school before COVID, no money for sport, mankind get surgery, national athletes, no money to go outside, no football home here, no, we can't even exercise in a gym. These clowns, all you really vote for that? What all you want me to say? All I can do is laugh and cry. I cannot believe a human being will say, okay, I'm very serious about my country. I would like to know that I have a job and my children have an opportunity to expand and live and own a home and be able to pay bills and so on. And I'm going to vote for this Oreo guy who doesn't like people and says, wean yourself off the government, and he's going to give only his friends and family all the money. He puts one guy in charge of everything, no procurement. He guts the procurement legislation and turns it into legalized thieving. I'm going to vote for that guy who tells me that I'm stupid and I shouldn't don't turn the place into a ghetto and don't throw sneakers up on the ceiling and the roof and wean myself off the government and everything is the government, and all you're only talking about the ferry, and then he goes and procures with this little small pin guy always chucking up at his side. That's who we vote for. I'm going to vote for that. Are you really serious? Serious? Let me see Rowley the puppet now. Let me see who my people vote. Because after this show, if all you vote race again, me and no, all you want, we better put Trinidad and Tobago inside La Soufrière. We better jump inside the volcano because the volcano have more positivity than Rowley and the PNM. Run it, boy, Vishnu, boy, or you get help, Archie.
Where this remote is, boy? I didn't hear what this PM had to say about this 3 weeks, boy. Chagarone, 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 chagarone.
My boy threw out the TV, yes? And that is why we laugh. Because if we don't laugh, we'll cry. You all cannot be serious. What you are born had nothing to do with you. Your mother, see your father, like him. If he caught she, he track she, he get through, he married she, and all you come out. So how could that be the most important thing to you all, where we vote for this stupidity? If we did not have this race-based voting and this stupidity that they pumped down our head since 1956, Rowley would have gotten 3 votes. Judy Raymond, Andrew Gabriel, and Jackie Lazarus. 3 votes that man would have get. Oh, sorry, 4. Grabby Wabby wife. That's about it. Nothing more. Where you was Saturday, Gregory? You went? Did you go? Because if all you went, and not only Greggy, I'm talking now to the 200 to the 250 guests who went in the wedding, who was in the wedding on Saturday. Let me ask you all this. While you all were bathing with your Lifebuoy soap, oh sorry, all you don't use Lifebuoy soap, that for people like we. While you were bathing with your squeeze-on body wash, your Cetaphil, and so on, and you were preparing to head to a wedding that you knew full well would have a minimum of 200 people and a maximum of 260, and you knew about the COVID-19 regulations, you knew about the pressure that the entire country had been put under by a government that did not know how to manage COVID, you knew about the laws and the regulation, you knew about the science of spread. You knew that if you all went there and one person had COVID in that wedding and they touched the roast pork and the kebab and they drink champagne and they knock glass and then they dribble on you and you hug them up while doing the slide at the bride hug the husband and lime and laugh, that you all could be spreading the COVID. But that COVID don't stop where it starts, that it spreads out and that every other citizen could pay the price. So now when 38% of businesses have already shut and will never open, and now on this 3-week lockdown due to stupidity of Rowley, Smallpin, tight pants Al-Arawi, and hug up man, hold hand Al-Arawi, and others like Andrew Gabriel, Rowley's best friend who now gone by Faris, like he do this to embarrass Rowley because he going with Faris against Rowley. Well, good for you, and Amory attacking everybody. Bacchanal. We're not interested in all your PNM Bacchanal. We're interested in the country is in chaos. People are suffering. So Gregory and all the people, well, I don't know if Gregory went. Let me say all those who went, because people went. We saw videos from Stephen Rees and thing about the cars. We saw on douglAr Politics, the security. We know the wedding was big. We know it's Andrew Gabriel, Rowley Bredgen, Rohanson, and now move across the Faris. To all those people who went to the wedding, all you really care about anybody else? Truly. Seriously. How selfish are you all? People can't even exercise now. People, businesses going to shut down. Children not going to get a meal. People are going to be unemployed. You who was in the wedding probably going to fire some people in your stores or in your businesses that you have. But you're in the wedding. Breaking all protocol, breaking all science, breaking all propriety, breaking all humanity, breaking all respect, all courtesy. All you really went? All you that hungry for flipping free food and drinks? Eh? Rich people so cranny. All you're so patriotic for red, white, and black that you ain't care how many people, businesses now in Trinidad and Tobago from La Brea, Point Fortin, Couva, Pinal, Princeton, all across Trinidad and Tobago, from Chagaramas to Macleod, everybody's suffering now. But all your wine and jam in our wedding. And plenty all you know each other, you know, because inside our wedding, when a man have a girl, at least 4 of them share it over the decades, you know. We know, but all you really so selfish for true? All you really so sickening for true? All you really don't care so for true? So I just asked Gregory, since he vexed, if he was there, and the other 200 to 249 people who went. We know Andrew Gabriel is a sickening clown. Because if you love Rowley and put Rowley there, you could only be a selfish idiot. We know that. I know that before you. I know he long time. We know that. Sickening. Don't care about nobody else. But to the other people, all you really so? All you couldn't say, well, this is nice. Let me just take some of my millions and buy a gift for the bride and groom and tell them, sorry, I won't make it because, you know, protocol. The country, all of us are in this together. And it had PNM ministers there. Which ones was there? Eh? All you're making laws and telling everybody shut down and shutting down people's business and nobody could earn living and people losing jobs. But all your partying and liming and drinking and all your people telling me politics is the same. Kamala and Rowley is the same. All you're sick. So to all the people who attended, shame on y'all. I hope it was a nice line. I hope the DJ played well. I hope the entertainment was fantastic. I hope you all felt that feeling of love, and when you went home, you rekindled your years of marriage in your marital bed and you all had fun. Because of y'all, everybody else can do nothing. Because of the oppressive government who y'all put also. So don't complain now, business association. How many of all you was in the wedding? How much? Let me ask you something. How many poor people was in that wedding? How many zessers was in that wedding? How many black boys with vests and jeans and a little gold chain was in that wedding? How many CPEP workers was in that wedding? Because everybody suffer now. How many corporation daily paid workers was in that wedding being unpatriotic and indisciplined and selfish and disgusting and nasty? How many? You see, money don't give you a class. Money don't give you humanity. Money don't make you courteous. Money don't make you a nice person. Money makes you a selfish. Anyway, left foot, right foot, all those people are called out. Wassa workers, all you was in the wedding. HDC applicants who looking for a house, all you was in that wedding. No, but all you dip all your finger for them to go in the wedding and all you get fire and lose work and get told to wean yourself off the government. All you vote for that. But none all you was in the wedding, you know. All your home following the laws. All your home behaving yourself. You're going by the grocery by yourself with your mask, buying your thing and going home to cook for your family. Saving your little money. Daily paid workers, you ain't getting no work. Nikwan workers, they get paid in 5 weeks. All you wasn't in that wedding. The very people who was in the wedding, and now we on lockdown, going and fire some of all you. And all you vote for that. Because of who is Indian and who is African. When all you going to stop the nonsense? Left foot, right foot for them. All you went left foot, right foot for them to fit. And for you to suffer. Well, what all you want me say? They have a little video there to sum it up, you know. So my question to all you who went to the wedding, yes, you receive an invitation, that's very nice. You know that whoever sent out the invitation and paid for the wedding, the father of the bride, is a total disrespectful, unpatriotic clown who never do nothing for the country but suck it dry. All you know that. So all you couldn't get the invitation and say, okay, we'll just send a gift and stay home because our country is more important than this flipping wedding. What do you want me to say? Run the video there now.
Irresponsible conduct of a few people, maybe one or two parties, maybe one or two lines, to put us on a slope to go backwards.
For our next red jersey. You want another red jersey? Walk behind a music truck. Do a nice, beautiful, well choreographed dance because my black brothers and sisters are so athletic, coordinated, brilliant, flexible, amazing, brilliant dancers. You want to put on a red jersey and do another dance? You weren't able to use that skill in the wedding? You weren't invited? How come? You was home, police kicking down your door. You probably have $1,000 to pay because you get a ticket for breaking COVID regulations. That fool who was speaking there in that Bermuda shirt, he had an invitation in his pocket for the wedding while he was buffing all you and tending all your wean all yourself, and they have nothing else for all you to get. You all want to vote again for that? Isn't it amazing? His 35 contacts, he said to take one fool. Them only say 35 contacts he had during that period. Right? But you all have to believe them. Never mind them just lie every time they open their mouth. But who are the 35 contacts? Why is it a secret? So you don't know if you was in contact with one of them 35 contacts. So if you was in contact with one of them 35 and 35 people was in contact with 10 people, like 350 people, and you don't know who touched where, when, what. COVID all up in all your K-packs. But lockdown, suffer, not them. Them acquiring companies. Their market share going up. Them raising their revenue from 300 million to 600 million. Them buying up insurance company to come back and charge all your higher rates. Them going and buy gas station to jam all your so all you can't even afford to drive. And all your balling left foot, right foot, put on a red jersey and wine your nice bumsy. Bumsy don't bring food. Red jersey don't bring work. Left foot, right foot don't make the cabinet smart. We in a total and complete mess. I dare any PNM now type something on the comments and say one thing them clown do good. Say one thing. Say I voted for the PNM because they did this. Say it. Tell me what they did. Run the next video with that video after video. One fool away. Which one we have now? Run it.
What else? I've been at this podium for a year. Pleading, beseeching people to be sensible. But you have to party. because you somehow feel that you will party and have a wonderful time, and somebody else will catch the COVID, and somebody else will be it could easily be you.
A few moments later.
And some people in this country, unfortunately, like every other country I presume, believe that they are entitled to behave in a particular way because of who they are. I just told you. Excuse me.
Hey, let me tell you something. When you're an arrogant lying clown, it's good. You coloring and talking down to people right through, attacking everybody, attacking man, woman, child, UNC, independent, candlelight movement, anybody that criticizes you and your government, you are attacking them in the most vile way, calling all of we irresponsible. How you get Mr. Responsible, Mr. Perfection, Mr. Honesty, Mr. Brilliance, Mr. Care about the people? You have suffered people outside of this country. People cannot come home. You put small pin to aggravate, attack you citizens in New York, across the board. Anybody who fight for citizens to come home, you keep them out. You tell lies on them. You use the power of the government to suppress people with an exemption policy that is oppressive. I know they want me feel empathy. Not this douglAr, not this bald head douglAr. My mother tell me respect is earned. You don't just get respect because you have a position. Respect is earned. Care and love shown, care and love reciprocated. Arrogance, disdain, pain, separation. People, they can't get no money, can't get no, they lost in their house. They can't get no hamper. You're playing politics with hamper and all. Food for poor people, are you playing games with? But what was going on? You advertised for Tobago. Tobago is the place to be. The ferry. Tobago, go Tobago. So when you was dancing your left foot, right foot, THA election, flouting all the rules, your AG flouting the rules, PNM partying and winding up all over the place. You had the audacity to buff other people. Now they say you get it. Well, all right, let me believe you. You get it. Run the advertisement now. Let me hear about Tobago. Yeah, that's what we ramp it up. That's what they was doing in Tobago. Because Rowley say Tobago, all go Tobago. Tobago, everybody went Tobago and went wild. Not a mask, nothing. Drinks flowing, hugging up, winding up. Pick up something, run it way, run video, man, all run video.
We were following the science and taking firm governmental decisions based on the advice of our health department. So today when you hear there isn't a single report of an infected person in Tobago, it is not by accident, it is by design of the staff and the government and the healthcare delivery in Tobago. Next week, the end of next week, we move into Easter. And of course, this is not an Easter. That the story is going to be the ferry. This is going to be an Easter where anybody who wants to go to Tobago can go and come back when you want. So you know what's happening now? Tobago is almost full and overflowing. The place to be is in Tobago. And I tell you, the best vacation you can have at home in Trinidad and Tobago is in Tobago. Go to Tobago if you want, but when you go there, behave yourself. Behave yourself. We are in a pandemic. Wear your mask. Stay away from crowds. No partying. And so on and so on. And you can have a wonderful Easter in Tobago. Nobody asking you to go to the sea and bathe in a mask on your face. But when you come out of the water, before you go to anybody, put on your mask and everybody going to be all right. And that for me is the success of the people of Trinidad and Tobago in whom the government places confidence.
I speechless, you know. Hey, run Tobago now. now. The man advertised, he said go Tobago, get actually run thing, man. Look at Rowley Tobago, look at the leadership, look at Al-Rawi, look at it, man. Look what the man tell we go and do in Tobago. All of them, including Rowley, stay there with all your COVID, you know, no exemption, or you can't come back, because that's the PNM policy. Run it.
It's a golden pen, a golden pen. Sign my name, sign my name. It's a golden anyway, we vote in PNM. Sign my name, it's a PNM pen, a PNM pen, a PNM pen. How are you sign my name? It's a PNM pen, we vote.
The place to be is in Tobago.
It had party man on man land. It had party with arms. You, Mr. Dr. Rowley, you, Mr. Science, you, Mr. Best in the world, you, Mr. Number One with no vaccine whatsoever. How you get the COVID if you follow the protocol and you distance and you space out and you didn't go to people and you didn't go no party and you didn't know how no lime and you didn't play golf and drink your scotch and eat shrimps with your boys and them. Where all the people you were in contact with, are they in quarantine? Have the police been given their numbers to check and addresses to check where they are? Have they been tested? Is the entire cabinet on quarantine lockdown? What is the contact tracing of you clown? Welcome back. Share the live, please. And to Dr. Parasram, sweet boy, express man of the year. All the girl them sugar. But you ain't so sugary now when they realize you're a dunce with no testicular fortitude. You standing up there, Dr. Parasram, telling the nation, after the horse bolted out the stable, but I was telling them, you know, I was telling the government them in March, I saw the possibility of a spike, you know. I was telling them, but them ain't listen to me. Them do their own thing, and now all the people dead in. Why you don't flip and resign, boy? You listening to yourself? You are the expert. You are the CMO, Chief Medical Officer. We in a pandemic which deals with health regulations. You are the boss. You have the knowledge. You see a spike that could cause death and devastation, economic degradation and demise for decades. You see the spike and you go to a man who could not pass a pharmacological exam, a dum-dum who take a piece of cloth and tap his nose, an idiot of immense proportions, and let the idiot tell you, the bright boy, that we're not going to take on the bright information and the analysis. We go in and do the dotishness, and you stay there and just come to talk to us again and keep your walk. At what point do you have the balls to resign? People are dying now, Dr. Parasram, because of you. With all due respect. By you sharing that information. Vishnu, I don't know if you could take out that piece alone with Dr. Parasram, with the blue mask on in the black suit, saying and explaining that in March, he saw a spike. His knowledge, and he's the expert, and he knew that we should take extra care because Easter was coming, and that little spike was enough in his mind, the mind that studied all of this, that understood this, that understand the science. He knew that if we did not put extra effort for that Easter period, we would be in problems. And Rowley and Convent Girl ignore he and instead did the opposite. In other words, they cuss he. It's a person might hush. And they say, come to Tobago. It's a place to be. The ferry, the ferry, the ferry. And you stay there, Dr. Parasram. What kind of man you is, really and truly?
We noticed a considerable increase. People at the time thought that it was too small. I thought that it was enough to cause a significant increase in terms of a snowball type effect. If it started in early March, just because we were going into a season, as you know, there was Easter coming up.
This is going to be an Easter.
If you don't understand what I'm saying, because I realize you might be able to study book, but you're really not too bright. You need to resign. You should have resigned beforehand and saved lives. Since Easter, if 26 people are dead from COVID-19 because of the spike that came that you foresaw, you analyzed, you anticipated, then those 26 deaths, sir, fall on your hands. You don't understand? This is not a game we play here. This is not Ludo. You, by not doing your job vociferously and strongly enough, and if you knew something, and idiots in the political realm were not listening to you, then you were to call a press conference, tell the population your belief, give us the information so we could protect ourselves and our family, and then hand in your resignation.
Well, I had said in the early part of March that we noticed a considerable increase. People at the time thought that it was too small. I thought that it was enough to cause a significant increase in terms of a snowball type effect. If it started in early March, just because we were going into a season, as you know, there was Easter coming up.
This is going to be an Easter where anybody who wants to go to Tobago can go and come back when you want. So you know what's happening now? Tobago is almost full and overflowing. The place to be is in Tobago.
Just over 50,000 people would have traveled during that week of the Easter back and forth. We had in excess of 50,000 people moving back and forth, and everything ran smoothly, although we were in a pandemic.
The number of active cases of COVID-19 in the country has crossed 3,000. The latest update from the Ministry of Health says there are some 399 new cases of COVID-19 and 4 more deaths due to the virus. The COVID-19 death toll now stands at 189.
You come now after when people dead in, getting sick, no beds, to come and say, but yeah, I knew that, you know. Boy, you are so ballsless and so spineless and so disgusting. You should hide your face for life. You are the professional. You are the expert. You have the work. And you let a man who studies stones, who could only tell you where is quartz and where is sandstone, come to tell you he not listening to you. And now all are we dead in, a father and a son dead. Since that Easter thing, about 25 people dead. Over 4,000 people get positive. But you knew it would have happened. And what did that help? How did that help our country and our people? You knowing. Because knowing without having the testicular fortitude to stand up for what you know is useless, you spineless clown. You're a total disgrace. And not only you should resign, yes, the PNM and all of them should resign, but we know there was dotish. But you coming now to tell us you saw the spike. That's your work. What do you think? If a man in charge of maintenance of a plane sees a problem with the hydraulic system, before a plane with 300 people takes off. And he goes and he tells a manager who's in charge of making money and selling tickets, a marketing manager, hey, I am seeing a little problem, a little dent in the hydraulic system, and that could be a risk to the 340 people going on that transatlantic flight. And the marketing man, who has no knowledge about the plane and the science of the plane, the mechanics of the plane and the safety of the plane, say, nah, don't worry that boy, we can't give back all them people their money. Fly plane. And the plane crashes and all dead. Who you think anybody still have a job, especially the mechanic, the engineer who saw the problem, who comes to the board and comes to the owners and the shareholders and to the FAA and so on and said, well, boy, I see that, you know. I saw that, but you know, I tell him, you know, boy. I tell him, you know, but they may take me on, you know. And you will still have a job, Parasram. And let me tell all you something. You ain't want to answer the UNC about the porous borders. You ain't want to answer Kamala, because Kamala is a better prime minister than you could ever be at any time. Kamala big toe have more humanity and brain that your entire big bullet 1-800 bullet. You understand? Since you don't want to answer the UNC, answer every intelligent citizen who knows that the borders are porous and therefore a lockdown with open windows could never work. So all we are doing is suffering our people, starving our daily pay, starving our single mothers. Children have no education. 35,000 of them still have no unit or no tablet or no laptop to go on school. They miss out 14 months already in a growing life that is a decade of time. Well, listen to other people, listen to the columnists, listen to even the editorials of your newspapers, which once thought that you were good for them. Listen to Joel D'Souza. Run it. Let she talk around.
Set a batch next. We give that shot too. And again, they have to get it back in June. Have it ready for them, you know. Because the same people that you're friendly with today, tomorrow, they will be a horse of a different color. Secondly, let me advise you again. Let me give you a little tip if you don't have it right. So try and see if you could build some relationships. Well, you don't go yourself. You don't go yourself, Dr. Rowley. You better send man like Austin Warner. You better send man that people could relate to, that people like. Because you know you're not a like man. Yeah, none of the embassies, none of them want to have nothing to do with you. So you go and see if you could get Mariano Brown and some good people to go by the embassies and see if you could get Biden and them to give you a little bit of the 60 million that he giving away to people. Because I didn't see a name on the list. I didn't see a name on the list of world leaders. You ain't worried about that? You ain't worried that you didn't make that? But me, I told Barbados and the Prime Minister of Jamaica spoke. Where were you? You're the head of CARICOM. You feel shame? Huh? You have no shame? Oh God, man, you're shameless. You're shameless, shameless, shameless. And then you come today to buff people today? Oh God, you're sickening. You're sickening, Dr. Rowley. You can't do me one single thing. I live in Trinidad and Tobago, San Fernando.
You don't want to hear Kamala. You don't want to hear the UNC. You want to only talk to Bullet. You and Faris hug a Bullet inside Bullet House. So if it's a Ho House, what is the head of the Ho House called? The Ho House? There you was in, Rowley. The Ho House. You and Faris was sitting down in the Ho House. Eh, Rowley? Well, let's start somebody else then. Stefan Rees, come in and talk to the Prime Minister now. They say Anel don't respect him. But they lie. Respect what? Respect that? Boy, I respect something I step on outside it after the dog pass more than Rowley. So they don't get confused at any point in time. All you run Stefan Rees. Let me hear Stefan Rees talk now, boy.
We have 15 damning vessels, and that man stood on a platform yesterday
at a press conference and try to blame the partnership government for the current situation with the illegal immigrants in this country in the middle of the pandemic. That man stand up on a platform at a conference yesterday, pointing the finger and trying to deflect and put the blame Kamala. He sat back with blame Kamala. It worked for him in the first 4 years now. So he gone back to that. This man who Shamfa Kujo, when they now take up office, say we in charge, deal with it. All you in charge for 6 years. 6 bloody years. What have you done in these 6 years to have the border patrol, the Coast Guard working more efficiently? Nothing. That man going back to OPVs and how they get rid of the OPVs and they open up the borders. That is propaganda talk. That propaganda talk, boy. You know what common sense tells you? Common sense tells you that if I challenge something and I go to court and I win, I was right. And the other person was wrong. The government at that time, the OPVs were defective. The radar and the guns wasn't even working. So what did they do? They said, no, we're not paying for that. We don't want that. They took it to arbitration. They took it to court. They won. They win the matter. They were awarded X amount of money. With the money, they bought, I think it's 14 or 15 damning vessels. And those vessels have been parked up in Stobbles Bay for the last 6 years. When will this man stop lying? When will he stop lying?
Y'all look at it. Look at it. You heard Stefan Rees. Look at all the vessels. And those are the vessels that Rowley has parked up there. Look. Pop that volume. I feel that volume on it. You all saw them park up there. I went fishing 3 times in the last 4 weeks. And I show all you, always park up. Because Rowley does not care. He did not give the Coast Guard the diesel to run it. He did not give them the maintenance to maintain the vessels. They have not been patrolling for 14 months. And previously for 2 years while illegal immigrants from Venezuela were coming across to look to survive, to look for livelihood, to look to work, to send back money to Venezuela, because Rowley's friend Nicolas Maduro is the most oppressive indicted narco terrorist out, and he lines with Iran. And you all then talking about Trinidad and Tobago being on a terrorist watch or advisory from the US. It's not only, or they don't want to listen. Rowley, you don't want to listen to Kamala and the UNC. You don't want to? Well, let me go quite Barbados now and let we listen to market vendor. All you have to understand, don't listen to Anil alone. This country, everybody need to stand up now. Where you voted PNM, you made a mistake. Everybody make mistake in life. So what? You didn't know Rowley was so dishonest, so ridiculous, so non-caring, so wanted to procure without procurement, so love a certain type of people, so love golf and nobody else. All you didn't know that. Okay, forget that. That water under the bridge, we're at a movie now. Because this country, we gone through the world laughing at us that we have the biggest clown in the history of the CARICOM and Commonwealth. Biden invite he. Biden look past he. Biden call Holness. Biden call Myanmar Motley. Biden call Gaston Brown. Biden tell Blinken, don't study Rowley. Rowley telling him to ease sanction. Biden mash their sanction. Rowley say we don't beg for vaccine from India. He begged Biden. Biden right back and say, hey boy, I don't see about my people, but you take your time, yes? Now, let's hear market vendor from Barbados, Bajans who have taken care of us, our 33 citizens, when we lock them out under small pin. Them take care and small pin attack Barbados and say Bajans want to use here. Bajans don't want to come here under no PNM. Barbados have a real prime minister. Barbados going good. Them making opportunity. Them walking. Them not locked down, shut down and broke down like we. Run it, man, market vendor. Let me hear market vendor.
Yes, it's me, market vendor here again today. Lost. What's going on in Trinidad and Tobago do at all? I mean, Trinidad and Tobago like it's one big prison these days, cause as of last night, midnight, everything like it locked down in Trinidad and Tobago. A friend of mine sent me this here and tell me, market, as of midnight last night, no restaurants and bars can be open. All malls will be closed. All places of worship will be closed. All gyms and fitness centers will be closed. All spas and beauty dispensing areas closed. Casinos, cinemas, theaters, clubs closed. Public service will operate on essential service only. And so on and so forth. Well, first of all, let me start the last one though. Public service will operate on essential service only. I thought that was what it was. I thought public service was really an essential service. If it is essential, then I guess it could do without it, innit? Oh, lost. And look, Trinidad and Tobago, have your borders not been closed for a year or nearly a year now? So what kind of thing this is at all that going on? If the borders been closed, how come we're getting all this COVID inside there? It seems to me like you got a Ministry of National Insecurity. And it also seemed to me that your borders are fairly porous. Well, I know I have water all around Trinidad and Tobago, so I guess in that regard it's porous, ain't it now? Look at there. Not even worship. I can't go and pray a little bit. You can't really close all places of worship, though, because I can pray inside my house. Just FYI. You understand where market coming from? So what are we supposed to do now? No doubles at all? No roti, huh? Not a coconut vendor around the savannah? You mean I can't go down by, Shagaramas, huh? I can't go down Maracas and get my bacon shark and bake, whatever you want to call it. I go down by Richard or his sister, or one of them. You mean I can't go down by Arapita Avenue and get a little sushi? Oh, lost. Yeah, you really hurting market vendor. I can't go by Trotters night and Lime a little bit. Nothing so at all. Jenny's by the Boulevard, nothing. Well, I want to close down Parliament too as well, because you get a lot of hot air inside there too as well. Yes. Look, you see me market vendor, it seemed to me like you fellas that in charge, like you really, the vupsin, as the Trinidadians will say, the vupsin, I like that Trinity word real bad, the vupsin, here what I'm telling you. I feel that you need to get a little help from Mayor Amor Motley, cause she at least, we had a second wave too as well. But we got more waves than we got down at Maracas. On the East Coast of Barbados, you got wave after wave after wave, and yet your borders are closed, huh? Oh, lost. I feel for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because these are people who love to party. These are people who like to get together. Trinidad and Tobago people, Trinidadians, ignorant people, and them know what they got to do, huh? Yes, all of this seem like a lot of papi show. You closing down and locking up everything. And the only people that ain't lock up is the criminals. Them they're free to walk about and do as they want. Hey, I was only a market vendor, but let me tell you something, Skipper. I feel you can pay some real political blows for this one. Elections coming up, ain't it? Look, let me tell you something. You better get the handle on this here, cause Trini don't like the money locking he up inside the house. But it's in the Royal Jail, Trinidad and Tobago, like a big institution, a big penal, and not a penal institution either, a big penal institution. I was only a market vendor, I go for now. But you have a blessed and a wonderful day. Yeah.
Want to answer Kamlan. You don't want to answer the UNC. You don't want to answer the media because you're bullying them. You go answer Stephen Rees, you go answer Joel D'Souza, you go answer every citizen outside there. Why are the borders porous? Why in a pandemic have you locked out citizens? Turn citizens who are at home against those who are abroad to create some sort of phobia when all it took was repatriation through PAHO, World Health Organization, Ministry of Health protocols. But COVID-19, do you know that in Venezuela today 1,424 cases, over 64 dead. In the last week, over 8,000 cases positive of both a mix of the Brazilian variant and the normal COVID. So where you thought we get it from? And the media, you all taking that tactic when Rowley started to shout. And for a man who had COVID for 17 days and 5 positive tests, he real energetic, boy. For a man who heart ain't good, who have comorbidities up in his nose hole, he come out that thing good. But all you locked down and everything shut down and nothing working, and he telling all you, on top of that people could come, police could come in your house. This man is a madman, but we ain't reached there yet. Because let me tell you something.
But to the Express, if a man says, I know this happened, but I have the evidence, but I'm not giving you. Not right now. How that reach our front page? Guardian too. And for other media people who picked it up, and some of the media, the TV shows, the news. How that became a story? Because a man just talk out and say, I know about this and I hear about that. That's a story, no investigation, no detail, no check-in, no cargo list, no customs form, no price, no delivery date, no nothing. And that reached a front page. Now that's the difference between the UNC and the PNM. The PNM does lie on you and keep lying on you, and no matter how much, whether you go in court and clear name, go in court, so throw out, quash audit, do whatever, they lie and they keep lying because they're sick. But the UNC don't lie on you. I, douglAr politics, here right through years, hours, radio, TV, Facebook, now all over YouTube. I never lie on Rowley, and I would never will. Anything I tell all here is pure, unadulterated fact. You don't think they would love to sue, but the number one defense from being sued or defamation is truth, research, sources. So Express, that was very embarrassing. But as we on that, Vishnu, as we on that topic of vaccines, I have some questions. Because I have some research fellas, they are very good. I am quite good. And my memory quite good. And I have been racking my brain, checking, researching. And I have not seen anywhere where the Ministry of Health, the CMO, Minister Dial Singh, Rowley, Amory Brown, nobody mentioned that Trinidad and Tobago received a gift of 500 vaccines, Covishield vaccines, from the United Nations. Don't put it up yet. You all out there, did you all hear that? Did you all help me type something? Did you all hear that Trinidad and Tobago received 500 doses of Covishield vaccine from the United Nations?
I know we got 2,000 from Mia Amor Motley when the Alsing said it wasn't from she, it's not a gift. Barbados was just the collection point and they distribute. Then he had to come and wind back, right? Lie. When he lie on Mia Amor Motley, we had 2,000 there. Then we got 33,600 from the COVAX, the first thing that was supposed to be 106,000 and it came about 30 days late. Then Kamala write to the Indian High Commissioner and beg for 40,000 and we got 40,000 from India. Then you heard Amy Wong talking about we trying to get on the Serum Institute, we couldn't contact them, none to buy and so on. Then we got 16,000 from St. Vincent and 10,000 from Grenada. We got a second shipment of 33,600 from COVAX. Not so? Then we got 100,000 Sinopharm. Am I correct? Notice no paper, no thing, I just tell you, I remember all the vaccine we get. The vaccines, I think I hit it. Perfect, I think. And nowhere there do I recall 500 doses of vaccine, Covishield, from the United Nations. Did you all hear that? Well, check this. Put it up there. Let me check this. United Nations Global Service Center, Piazza del Rento, Brinzi, right, Italy. Consignee, that was the shipper. Consignee, Ministry of Health, care of Nipbeck, Airway Road, Marine Drive, Chagaramas, Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. Notified party, Miss Cindy Baksh. I hear her name Baksh from somewhere. I forget where it is, boy. Go up now, let's go up slowly. HS code and what's the description? The brand, manufacturer, the quantity. We see Covishield, 5 ml vial, 10 doses per vial, 500 doses, US $3 unit value. This is the value for the customs, 1,500 US, right? Items shipped in single-use thermal package, a box of 150 vials, and 10 doses per vial, right? 50 vials, dimensions and so on. Total pieces, 1 box. Total weight, 15 kilograms. Total volume, 0.094. Total value, 1,515 US 65. Remarks, not for resale or commercial purposes. Go back up, let's check the date. Did I call out the date? Put it back up, man, let's take our time. Go back up to the top. Let me see. On the right hand side there, United Nations logo, invoice packing, date 22nd April 2021. So I am asking Minister Dialsing, did Trinidad and Tobago receive 500 Covishield vaccines from the United Nations on April 22nd, 2021? If we did, please tell us why you didn't announce it. Mr. CMO, Ms. Dr. Avery Hines, Dr. Dialsing, oh sorry, not Dr. Dialsing, Mr. Duns Dialsing, please, let's check this now. This is the draft shipping airway bill, right, coming from Del Vento, Italy, to the Ministry of Health, care of Nipdek, Airway Road, Mauritius, Chagaramas, Bam. It came in from Copenhagen, and all of that. Port of Spain is the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. Right, come back to me now. And to all the members of the media, please, you all are welcome to take that clip, take those documents. If you want, WhatsApp me, I'll send you the documents. Did 500 doses of Covishield vaccine arrive on April 22nd into Trinidad and Tobago? And if so, where, why, how were they distributed, given, who got them, who took them, why didn't we hear about it, why was this not announced, when we have so little vaccine anyway that this is like, this is life. Over to you, Keith Christopher Rowley. Over to you, Terence Dial Singh, because I have not seen it. So if it is there, please let us know. And what was the process? Who got these? Where were they directed? And who's Cindy Bash? Okay, I leave you all there with that. But one much more critical question has come up, and I need answers. In the Hindu religion, when loved ones pass away, they believe that the spirit, the soul, must be separated from the body to move on to the next realm, and that their loved ones can only find peace in that form or fashion. So in the Hindu religion, they use open pyre cremation on the rivers, in the open air. This man and his government have said that open pyre cremation under COVID-19 is not allowed. It's not allowed. On what basis? What science? Have we seen one case of someone dead of COVID being cremated and the COVID infection going up in the smoke and infecting people? Have we? Anywhere in the world? In India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, anywhere? On what basis is this man, his government, the PNM, denying the Hindu people, the Hindu religion, the opportunity to say goodbye to their loved ones with respect? On what science, I'm asking? It's a very serious matter. And it leads to deep-seating thought and real conscious thought about the processes of the decision-making in the PNM cabinet under Keith Christopher Rowley, who always plays the race card in order to stay in power. All of a sudden he remembers when they have election, he's a black man. He don't remember that when he on the golf course and he drinking scotch and eating shrimps. He don't remember when he liming in Goodwood Park or he fishing down in Yacht Club. He don't remember when he liming and them boys calling him, hey, little black boy, N-word and so on. He don't remember that. But when it have election, he know it have Indian and it have African. So I'm asking, where did this policy concept, what is this science dictating what amounts to an attack on the Hindu religion? Secondly, pundits, members, leaders of the Hindu faith have said, listen, we are fully in support of anything to prevent COVID-19. So they are willing to do cremation and can do cremation indoors. But cremation indoors is very expensive. So if the government's policy based on science, I remember my first question, what's the science? Let's pretend that for a moment there's some science. We know there's not, but let's pretend. Then isn't it incumbent upon the government, who is inflicting a position upon families of meager means, that they provide some sort of resources to assist those families who cannot afford the indoor cremation to do that? But this government just says, no outdoor. End of story. No science, no nothing. No support, no help, no grant. All you're dead. Is that how discipline, production, and tolerance work? Not our anthem, a convent girl. Not the anthem, the watchwords. Is that how it operates? What is this science? Is there any assistance? Do you know that some poor people now of the Hindu faith have resorted, I can't even say it, because it's unfair, have resorted to burying their deceased? Now think about it. If you believe in something, if you believe wholeheartedly and passionately that when you die, in order for you or someone you love to live in the next realm or to have or to rest in eternal peace, that it requires a separation of the body, the spirit, and this is done by fire. If you believe that, and you're denied that right without science, and you force poor people who believe in their religion to go against their religion and relegate their loved ones in what they believe to a life that is not fulfilled in the afterlife, because you have not done the ritual properly, the religious practice properly, and you're forced to bury your loved ones, body and spirit together. That is insensitive, callous, intolerant, and downright disrespectful. And I'm asking the government of Trinidad and Tobago, on what basis do you make these policies? On what basis do you show the watchwords? On what basis do you show respect to all? This is just yet another example of gross disrespect from a callous, heartless government and cabinet who's only about procuring without procurement, about recusals, about money, and about no service to mankind, nor the dead. You deny a son the opportunity to bury his mom, and you're denying citizens the opportunity to say goodbye to their loved ones based on the tenets and beliefs of their religion. All I could say is shame. But you still have people who will and vote for you. I want you all to really soak that in and think about those families who are forced to do that.
The matter is of public importance because lives are at stake, and in the absence of appropriate contingency measures, there is the danger of the contagious coronavirus becoming an epidemic in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I am not satisfied that this qualifies under this standing order.
The adjournment of the Senate on definite matters of urgent public importance.
Senator Mark.
To move the adjournment of the Senate for the purpose of discussing a definite matter of urgent public importance, namely the failure of the government to adequately secure the borders of Trinidad and Tobago in the wake of the coronavirus global health emergency.
Honorable Senators, I have considered the motion as presented and I'm not satisfied that it qualifies under the standing order.
I don't think there's a risk of coronavirus to the country, given all we have discussed. You can ask your medical practitioner what they think in those circumstances as well.
Just treat with this thing. The chances of Trinidad and Tobago having an explosion of cases of coronavirus are remote to possibly non-existent. If we do get it, it is going to be individual cases if we get it.
Worse than World War I, World War II, and 9/11 put together.
Trinidad and Tobago did not arrive at where we are by guess.
And then each copy goes into another cell in your body, switches on the photocopy machine, and switch on and just prints copies. Wearing a mask by the average Trinidadian and Tobagoan is of absolutely no use. As you could do like me, take an old t-shirt, rip it, and you have a face mask.
This Minister of Health, right? I thought you wanted a real doctor.
The COVID response has taught us something about leadership. Trinidad and Tobago did not arrive at where we are by guess. It was because we had a Prime Minister with vision. You see vision? If you don't have vision as a leader, crapo, smoke your pipe.
following the science and taking firm governmental decisions based on the advice of our health department.
If you recall, I had said in the early part of March that we noticed a considerable increase. People at the time thought that it was too small. I thought that it was enough to cause a significant increase in terms of a snowball type effect. If it started in early March, just because we were going into a season, as you know, there was Easter coming up.
This is going to be an Easter where anybody who wants to go to Tobago can go and come back when you want. So you know what's happening now? Tobago is almost full and overflowing. The place to be is in Tobago.
Just over 50,000 people would have traveled during that week of the Easter back and forth. We had in excess of 50,000 people moving back and forth, and everything ran smoothly, although we were in a pandemic.
The number of active cases of COVID-19 in the country has crossed 3,000. The latest update from the Ministry of Health says there are some 399 new cases of COVID-19 and 4 more deaths due to the virus. The COVID-19 death toll now stands at 189.
If you don't have vision as a leader, crapo, smoke your pipe.
Now I am going to take you all back, you know. And Vishnu, that video was brilliant. And I would like you all to put that up after douglAr Politics, and all of people, especially those who thought for the election August 10, 2020, that Rowley was doing great with COVID, and that was the reason you voted Rowley. I know, it's okay. It's hard to admit we made a mistake, especially one so critical. But at the beginning of that video, did you see when Senator Wade Mark, if you notice he had no mask on and so on, if you all didn't notice, that was February 4th, 2020. February 4th, 2020, where Wade Mark of the United National Congress, the leader of business in the Senate, asked and told and beseeched the president of the Senate to debate COVID-19 and the porous borders and its effect that it would have on Trinidad and Tobago. This was before one positive case. The UNC was saying the borders are porous because they had been before. And if we are going to intend to fight a pandemic that has not arrived yet, that we must prepare so to do. Here we are in May 2021, and the borders are more porous than back then, February 2020. And we are going to hit 200 deaths tomorrow. We had 399 cases yesterday, 326 cases, and the PNM has not resigned. People, you kept asking me what would the UNC have done different. Number one, we would have been prepared, understanding what was coming. We would have been ready with a plan because Wade Mark, Lacrambodo, Fuad Khan, Anita Haynes, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, all of them were asking what is the plan, what are we going to do? So number one, we knew it was coming. While Convent Girl, Parastram, Rowley and them said, nah, that's all right, party on, carnival, wine on a boomsy. Let us know, Madam President here. So I'm going to take an extra 2 minutes here today because I want you all to understand that Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, if she was Prime Minister, and our good coaches always walk with the stopwatch. I see Fenwick with one of these. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, if she was Prime Minister, the COVID-19 pandemic fight would have been different. Life in Trinidad and Tobago would have been different. Ready? Let me tell you why. Go! Because Kamala Prasad-Bissessar had real doctors in her cabinet and MPs. She would have had the advice. She would have had the full debate and created a program. She'd have ensured that there was enough testing across the board so that we could have been testing all during Carnival and make sure there was contact tracing to either have a safe carnival
or cancel it based on the data. She would have ensured that the borders would have remained open for citizens to be repatriated under PAHO and World Health Organizations, while the borders, official borders, would have been closed to internationals, so that we would have kept our islands pristine. She would have ensured that the porous borders were locked. The Coast Guard would have had diesel, the helicopters, Air Guard would have been flying, the Army would have been from Fullerton to Icacos with jeeps and full floodlights. The police would have been out in roadblocks to lock down the place. Officials in Carnage and Chaguaramas, they would have stopped the Venezuelan fishermen from coming in with unchecked. There would have been health officials out there, customs and excise. The borders would have been sealed with a security dome. Then she would have ensured that the economy would have been moving. She would not have shut down beaches and rivers and outdoor activities. She would have ensured agriculture continues and that local products would have been sold. She would have ensured that we in Trinidad and Tobago would have kept the economy going, so that jobs would have been able to continue. The money that she would have been given at grants would not have been $1,500. It would have been more realistic, up at $3,000. She would have created a system of public servants in warehouses to keep printing checks, so that everybody, 200,000 people, because more people would have applied, because the forms would not have been so arduous. She would have printed out those checks and made sure that they were printed within 3 to 4 weeks. Everybody would have had their money. There would have been better management of the hospitals. The real doctors would have been in charge. She would not have put a convent girl in charge of the Ministry of Health. How much time? With the ministry, where the clock? She would have put real doctors and real specialists in the parallel health system. She would have purchased more ventilators, ensure there was more oxygen, ensure that the borders would not allow illegal immigrants in to bring Brazilian variant. The small and micro businesses would have received their grants. NEDCO would have increased their loan facilities. She would not have taken out $23 billion in the heritage and stabilization and only used $425 million for the people. There would have been more accountability across the board. Sports and healthy lifestyle activities would have continued and been managed. We would not have been on lockdown, shutdown and brought down with a state of emergency. The airports would have been monitored. There would have been antibody antigen testing, and Trinidad and Tobago would have been a bubble. Tobago would have kept separate and would have been in the bubble with Barbados, so that we could have had tourism continuing. That, I think, is 2 minutes, but that is what Kamla would have done, and lots more. There would have been more school feeding, more hampers, more money spent, more belief, more heart, more soul, more love. And she would not have told you that you're greedy. Good night.
This Friday is Christmas Eve, but don't worry, we're not taking a break. We're bringing the heat for Christmas Eve. We're going to be joined by the Honorable Senator Jayanti Lakshmi-Dayal as we talk about mandatory vaccinations and the erosions of our freedom. We will talk about Faris Al-Rawi and his interesting habits of South lawyers, and of course we will talk about COVID. But we'll be bringing viable solutions to this crazy fiasco that is called the PNM and this Rowley-led government. This Friday, Fire Fridays with Marsha Walker, douglAr Radio, U975. Be there. Christmas Eve, Fire Friday, we bring in the heat.